If you're new to this whole quadcopter party, then you might not know about what an OSD is. That is an on-screen display. And when you set that up for the first time, you might get a little bit something surprising, because when the screen loads, you'll see that it throws all of these crazy little active elements, and you can hardly see through this to fly. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to go through to show you how to manage all of these what are called active elements. The first thing is with the Betaflight OSD, it's pretty slick. If you're out in the field and you do not have a computer with you, you can still manage to turn these off with your controller. So with the stick over here that's throttle, you go half throttle and yaw all the way to the left and then pitch all the way forward. And now we have a menu. Now we can scroll down to OSD using this right stick to navigate up, down, and then left, right, or right goes into the menus like that. And then we can go to the active elements right there. And you see all of these are checked yes. If you go in and check every single one of these no, then you can turn them off. After you check them all off, you can come down to the very bottom of this really long list. There should be a back button. Here we go. We'll select back. And then we'll do back one more time. Oops. And then we'll do the save and reboot. And you'll see that a couple of these elements have been turned off. That is if you're out in the field and you have no computer. The better way to do this, I'll show you, is if we take a look and plug into Betaflight and do it through the configurator. So we'll go ahead and just connect to the flight control board that I have set up. Sometimes it hangs. Well, there we go. All right. Now I'll come over here to OSD. And now you see here, this is a much easier way to configure everything. So RSSI value, I don't think the flight controller I have does that, so we'll turn that off. Main battery voltage, I want to keep that. Horizontal sidebars, those are these things right here. They're super annoying. I don't know why they're there. Turn them off. Timer 1 I usually leave on. Timer 2 I'll turn off. Fly mode, I like to have it show me what mode I'm in. Craft name, that's actually if you come back, here we'll go ahead and save this. If you want to put the name of your craft, you can go to the configuration tab, scroll down, and you can see here I've got my little tiny poop name for the tiny whoop that I have, and that's where the name comes from. So then we'll go back into the OSD. So we'll go ahead and turn off craft name. Throttle position, I don't care about. VTX channel. Current draw is actually pretty slick. I like to have that on, and then mod drawn, that milliamp hours drawn. That tells you basically how much capacity is left in your battery. I like to have that up. GPS speed, there's no GPS in this little thing, so we'll turn those off. Altitude, no. PIDs, no. Don't care about that. Power, I don't care. The rate profile, warnings. GPS, we can turn all this off. Debug, pitch angle. A lot of this can get turned off. Home direction, home distance, numerical heading, compass, ESC temperature, all that stuff. Okay, that's all turned off. So now we're looking a little bit more clean. And the nice thing is if you don't know what one of the elements are, you can just hover your mouse over it and you can see over here it kind of highlights. Okay, so that's main battery voltage. So I'm less curious about main battery and I'm more curious about the individual cell. So I can turn off main battery voltage. This is my flight timer. Temperature, okay, I thought I turned that off, so we'll turn that off over here. What is this? Main battery usage. Okay, so that's a visual bar that slowly goes down, so you can kind of keep track of battery usage. I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. And then, so once we have the few elements that we want, I'm going to move the camera back down, and you can see it's all being changed live in the feed from the camera. And what I can do is see how there's a space right in here. Well, I want to move these elements around. It's super easy to do. You basically just click it and drag it. And it's a little bit of trial and error to figure out where your screen is, because if you go to the far, sides and corners, sometimes the element can go off the actual display that you have for your goggles or your LCD. So I'll move the camera back down. You can kind of see, I'm going to move these elements over a little bit, and you can see how it kind of steps over like that. If you did not already see the video where I set up the voltage calibration and current calibration, that's super important before you use these elements. Otherwise, you just get something that's not an actual number. It's just kind of it might be close, but it could be really far off. Okay, so that's looking a lot better. I can fly with that. That's just a really quick, I'm sure a lot of people already know how to do this, but something that you might want to play with before you go out and fly if you've just got an OSD. Also, on this side over here, we have post-flight statistics. So I'm going to real quick turn on my transmitter. Let's see if we can arm it. And then let's say we're flying, we come back and we land, we disarm, and it displays these this little screen with all these stats on it. And you can adjust the stats that it displays after your flight over here on the right. And you can just toggle these on and off just like all the other active elements. And if you want to get super crazy fancy, there is a font manager, and you can go in and change the actual style of the fonts. But that's just a quick run through of the OSD and how to quickly kind of see which elements you want, which ones you don't. I currently like to have the fly mode, on time, the milliamp hours drawn, and then the current draw, and then I turned off my battery. Hold on, where is it? Main battery voltage? Yeah, so I like to have that one stacked over here too. So I have all the battery stuff on this side, flight time there, and then just it tells me what mode as far as fly mode I'm in. And then this whole Betaflight logo goes away whenever you arm. But yeah, so that's a quick run through. I hope you all enjoyed that, and I will see you next time.